The most important thing to think about when you're thinking about the balcony, when you're thinking about Genet, when you're thinking about this entire play, is that very much like the other absurdist plays that we've seen, excuse me, up to this point, the point of the play is sometimes hidden by location, is sometimes hidden by humor, is sometimes hidden by other details. What are we looking at here? Well, we're looking at Genet, who is a person kind of obsessed with the transgressional, right? With the wrong, with the dirty, with the filthy, with the unclean, right? Genet has this obsession with making things seem unsavory, and yet at the same time, the ideas that he's getting behind are things that he truly finds to be unsavory and unpleasant, right? Let's take as an example the idea that he places this particular play in a brothel is shocking, right? And for audiences, even back when this play was published, it would have been a little shocking. Sort of placing this in the inner workings of some place where sex is the name of the game, where, where we know exactly what the men who are going there, and let's be completely honest, it's men who are going here, right, for this, what they are getting is not obscured. However, the entire theme of the play is that it isn't the sex that is problematic. It isn't the erotic nature of what's going on that is dirty. It's power. It's the idea that power is a corrupt game, right? Irma knows what she is capable of. She knows that she has everybody that comes to this particular brothel basically in her clutches. Now, does the chief of police become somewhat of an abusive presence in her life? Yes. Although I think that we cannot discount the fact that Irma is much stronger, that certainly portrayals of abuse of any sort are unpleasant, they're uncomfortable, and we look at Irma and we look at the dynamics of power between her and the chief of police, and are his actions excusable? Absolutely not. However, she remains firmly in control of the situation the entire time. Now, is this an excuse for, somebody to say, well, abuse can happen as long as I stay in charge? No, of course not. But Irma does remain firmly in charge of the situation. She remains firmly in control of everything. And when she agrees to participate in what the palace envoy is suggesting, that she simply find these people who have portrayed these roles to take the reins of power, that she again positions herself as one of the most powerful people in the city. So the thing that we ended the last video on, and that I do want to continue with today, or in this video, is this idea that we are never really sure what real power is. That power by itself, power as a tangible thing, is only power when there are really two things that happen. That somebody is able to wield it and somebody respects it enough to listen to it, right? It's the same thing when we talk about money, right? Back in the 60s, 70s, there used to be something called the gold standard. You may remember it, you may not, you may have heard about it, you may not have heard about it. But it used to be the policy of the United States government that any money that was printed could be backed up by real gold on site in the United States somewhere, right? That anytime new money was printed, it was because we had enough gold to cover it, right? And this was known as the gold standard. And so if you find any bills that have this gold standard mark on them, they're quite valuable these days. But it was basically a way of reassuring the public that this is not just a piece of paper that's been printed, it's backed up by something real. And a lot of people believe that moving away from the gold standard sort of cheapened the idea of money, that now, right, if you have a dollar, what really is backing it up? Well, it's the faith in the fact that we have a system that is worth it, that everybody around the country has agreed that this particular piece of paper, everybody around the world has agreed that this particular piece of paper is worth X amount of money, right? That this is worth something. I can exchange it for this much in goods. And when we look at power, it's the same thing, right? We agree to listen to our government because we have said that their actions are legitimate, right? That if somebody makes a law, that we'll agree to follow it, right? But there is nothing physically stopping us at any one point, right, from simply deciding we don't want to follow the law, right? I mean, that, let's be completely honest. Anarchy is this idea that there is no real control over our lives by anybody, right? The government doesn't have a right to say it. Parents don't have a right to say it. Nobody has a right to tell us what we can and can't do. We can do whatever we want. If I want to go out and smash a car window, I can certainly do so. Now, consequences, right, come from, breaking the law, and they're what we've also agreed upon. You do this, this is the response, right? Genet is very much, in this particular play, playing on that notion of what does power mean. And to come back to where we were at the very beginning of this video, one of the ways that he gets us to think about that without necessarily having too much time to acclimate ourselves to that is by placing us in a situation where we are not really thinking about power. We're thinking about the sex. We're thinking about the dirtiness. We're thinking about the what this unsavory relationship is between Irma and her clients and the people there, when what Genet is actually talking about is power, right? He destabilizes our way of thinking and then presents the idea of power, the dynamics of power, much in the same way that Ionesco destabilizes our understanding of language by presenting nonsense, and then by the end of the play, when he sort of bludgeons everybody with the absolute nonsense of the last scene of The Bald Soprano, that we are open to it, right? We've let down our defenses, right? We do the same thing here. So, in the very next video, we're going to talk about plot points, and we're going to talk about how we get to where we really are talking about power and what we can get out of this play and its discussion of power.